Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Are you actually living your life, or are you just waiting? Waiting for Friday, waiting for annual leave, waiting for retirement, waiting for that magical day when you finally have time to do all the things you actually want to do. And let's be real, by the time retirement comes, your knees will hurt, your back will hurt, and your idea of fun will be falling asleep by 8 p.m. in front of a TV show you don't even like. I'm not saying this to depress you. I'm saying it because there's another way. Today, we're talking about a book that made millions of people question everything they thought they knew about work, life, and why we're all sitting in traffic every morning like it's totally normal. The book is called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and whether you love him or find him slightly exhausting, the guy has some insights that might just save you from spending your best years in a cubicle. Grab your overpriced coffee. Let's get into it. Insight 1. The deferred life plan is a trap. Here's the script most of us were given at birth. Work hard in school, get a good job, climb the ladder, save for retirement, and then, finally, enjoy life when you're too old to enjoy anything. Tim Ferriss calls this the deferred life plan, and his question is simple. Why? Why are we okay with putting the best parts of life at the very end, like dessert after a meal you hate? Imagine telling a child, you can play with toys, but only after you finish eating this bowl of plain oatmeal every day for 40 years. That child would cry. And yet, we do this to ourselves as adults and call it responsible. Look, I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow and move to Bali with no savings, but I am saying question the script. Who wrote this plan for your life? And do they actually have your best interests at heart? Spoiler, it was probably someone who also hates their job. The deferred life plan assumes you'll have energy at 65. Have you met a 65-year-old? They're wonderful people, but they're not exactly backpacking through Thailand on a whim. They're worried about their knees and whether that third cup of tea will keep them up at night. The alternative isn't reckless, it's just designing life differently, which brings us to Insight 2. Insight 2. Elimination greater than hustle culture. We live in a world that worships busy. If you're not exhausted, are you even succeeding? I saw someone on LinkedIn unironically post, I wake up at 4 a.m., meditate, cold plunge, answer emails, work out, and still get to the office before my colleagues. What's your excuse? And I thought, my excuse is that I like sleeping, Kevin. Good for you, but no thank you. Tim Ferriss says the opposite. Instead of asking how to do more, ask what you can eliminate. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts, the Pareto principle. So why are we killing ourselves over the other 80%? Here's a question you can ask yourself this week. What am I doing that literally no one asked for? That meeting that could have been an email, that report nobody reads, that urgent task that's been sitting in your inbox for 3 weeks. You know the one. Elimination feels uncomfortable at first because we're taught that more equals better, but more is just more, and more often than not, more is just noise. Insight 3. Time is not money. Stop pretending it is. We love this phrase, time is money, but it's not true. Money is replaceable. Time is not. You can always make more money. You can't make more Thursday afternoons. And yet we trade our Thursdays like they're worthless. If someone offered you $1 million to sit in a room and do nothing for a year, you'd probably say yes. But we give away thousands of hours for far less, and we call it work ethic. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you're on your deathbed, sorry to go dark, but stay with me, you will not think about that quarterly report you nailed in 2024. You will think about the people you loved, the places you saw, the moments you actually felt alive. And yet, we structure our lives as if the quarterly report is the whole point. Tim Ferriss asks, what would you do if you had $1 million? And then he asks, why can't you do some of that now? You don't need $1 million to read a book in the park on a Tuesday afternoon.
You just need to stop believing that Tuesday afternoons belong to someone else. Insight 4. Fear setting, not goal setting. We all know about goal setting. Write down what you want, visualize success, manifest your dreams. But let's be honest, most goal setting is just wishful thinking with better stationery. Tim Ferriss suggests something different, fear setting. Instead of asking what you want, ask what you're afraid of. Write it down, then ask, what's the worst that could happen if I faced this fear? Let's try it. Say you're thinking of quitting your job to start something of your own. The worst that could happen? You fail, you run out of money, you have to move back in with your parents, which, yes, would be humiliating, but also temporarily. Now ask, what's the likelihood of that worst case, and what could you do to prevent it? Then ask, if the worst case happened, could you recover? Spoiler, almost always yes. Most of our fears are just ghosts. They look scary in the dark, but when you turn the lights on, they're just your roommate's hoodie hanging on a chair. Fear setting takes the power away from the fear. It turns it from a vague dread into something you can actually plan for.
Insight 5. Mini retirements, not just at 65. This is one of my favorite insights from the book. Why do we save all our freedom for the end? Like a kid hoarding the best candy until it melts. Tim Ferriss says, take mini retirements throughout your life. Take 6 months off in your 30s. Travel. Learn something random. Live somewhere ridiculous just because you can. Imagine telling your boss, I need 3 months off to learn surfing in Portugal. They'd look at you like you'd grown a second head. But why? Surfing in Portugal sounds way better than another quarter of spreadsheets. Look, I know not everyone can just disappear for months, but the principle applies. Don't save all your living for later. Sprinkle it in now. Take a long weekend. Take a random Tuesday off. Go to a museum at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday when it's empty. It feels like you're getting away with something, because you are. Insight 6. Outsource your annoying life stuff. This one sounds like something only rich people can do, but hear me out. Tim Ferriss says, calculate your hourly rate. If you earn $50 an hour, anything you can pay someone else $20 an hour to do is a win. You buy back time, and time is the only thing you can't make more of. I'm not saying hire a personal chef, but maybe stop spending 3 hours a week on grocery shopping and meal prep if you hate it. Get it delivered. It costs a little more. It saves a lot of sanity. Maybe hire someone to clean your apartment once a month. Maybe outsource your laundry. Maybe pay that kid down the street to mow your lawn. The goal isn't to be lazy. The goal is to stop doing things that drain you so you have energy for things that actually matter. If you spend 4 hours a week on chores you hate, that's 200 hours a year. 200 hours you could spend reading, learning, exercising, or just staring at the ceiling thinking deep thoughts. Insight 7. Lifestyle design over career ladder. Here's the big one. We're taught to climb the ladder, get the promotion, get the title, get the bigger office. And then what? Tim Ferriss says, design your lifestyle first, then fit work around it, not the other way around. What does that actually look like? Start with the life you want. Do you want to live by the beach? Do you want to travel 4 months a year? Do you want to spend your afternoons with your kids instead of in meetings? Then work backward. What kind of work allows that life? What skills do you need? What can you build? Most people do the opposite. They take whatever job they can get, then try to cram a life into the leftover scraps of time, and then they wonder why they're tired all the time. The ladder you're climbing, make sure it's leaning against the right wall, because there's nothing sadder than getting to the top and realizing you didn't even want to be there. Let's bring all 7 insights together. Insight 1. The deferred life plan is a trap. Stop waiting for someday. Insight 2. Elimination over hustle. Do less, do better. Insight 3. Time is not money. Treat it like the irreplaceable thing it is. Insight 4. Fear setting, not goal setting. Name your fears, they shrink. Insight 5. Mini retirements. Sprinkle freedom throughout your life, not just at the end. Insight 6. Outsource the annoying stuff. Buy back your time. Insight 7. Lifestyle design first, career second. Don't get it backwards. Here's what I want you to take from this. You are not a robot built to optimize spreadsheets until you die. You are a temporary collection of stardust with the ability to feel, to explore, to laugh, to love, and to sit in the sun doing absolutely nothing without feeling guilty. And yet, we've built a world where doing nothing feels like a moral failure. That's not your fault, but it is your problem to solve. The good news? You don't have to solve it all at once. Just start questioning. Just start designing. Just start asking, what would I do if I wasn't so busy being busy?
That's all for this episode of The Mind Shift. Your mindset shapes your life, and your life is worth shaping. Hope it helped. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear this. I'll see you in the next video.